What's going on, y'all? Y'all may not know me. My name is Jay. I'm a photographer. This is my channel, D McCall Images. Let's get into it. I've been putting off starting this channel for a long time because I didn't want to be carbon copied. I wanted to have a unique perspective and to bring you the real. This is not meant to be like a high intensity, you gonna get video all the time channel. This is just stuff I wish somebody might would have told me. Things like that. So no further ado, with this first video, we're gonna get into the 5 things I wish I would have known before I started my own photography business. Alright, so being that I already procrastinated this video so long, it was supposed to be probably recorded January, dropped January, but here it is, February. I just want to get off into it. Just a little background about me. My name is Jay. I live in Texas, Central Texas to be exact. I am a wedding and portrait photographer. I'm not here to necessarily talk about me and what I do, but that's just to give you a little background about me, right? So, five things that I think, or I wish I would have known before I dove really deep off into my own photography business or just into photography, period. Number 5, running a photography business is so much more than just photography. What I have learned by personal experience is that really you don't do as much shooting as you do other things. As a photographer with your own business, you do a lot of marketing, you do a lot of advertising, consultations, trying to get people to come into your business to recognize you amongst the other however many photographers may be in your area. And that is the biggest thing that I have noticed. You do a lot more of that than you actually do shooting, which for someone like me, that kind of sucks because I'm more in love with the act of capturing the images rather than, getting the people in to shoot. Number 4 is understanding your camera, the exposure triangle. A lot of people are under the impression that photography is simple. They go out, they buy a DSLR, they may or may not know a real great amount about photography, but they think they're photographers. Just push a button and these images come off and they're just perfect and win awards and people love them and people will pay them and all they have to do is click a button. Boy, are they wrong. I have to admit, when I first got into photography, I didn't know that. I didn't get into it thinking it was easy and it was a click of a button. It was just something that I love to do. As I fell more in love with it, I wanted to understand more of how it works. So that's what I did. It started out buying my first DSLR when I was stationed in Korea, D90, D60, Nikon D60 with a lens, it's probably some kit lens. And I went around Korea and I took pictures. I took pictures of, the different landscapes and things to document my travels. I started taking it to different parties and events, and I really didn't know anything about it. Like that whole time that I was doing it, and in this time frame, people were telling me that, hey man, like I love your work. How much do you charge? And I'm just like, I don't. It's just a hobby. Um, don't cool. I'll come through and snap some pictures, but I don't do this, for like money or anything. I just like taking pictures. And that's fine. That's fine. So what I didn't realize was exactly how my camera worked, how photography worked. Understanding how ISO affected the image quality, how shutter speed affected ISO, affecting aperture. All of these things play together, and until you really understand exactly what that is and how that works, there's thousands of videos out there on how to do it if you just know what to look for. I'm not gonna break it down for you and tell you here, but this is something that I wish somebody would have told me beforehand, before I really got deep off into it. That way, I wouldn't have had to learn about it later. Number 3, the lens that you use is more important than the camera you use. You may or may not believe me. I am shooting this video on what is this? A Canon EOS Rebel T3i. Now, I'm primarily a Nikon guy, but I do know that Canon is a little bit superior when it comes to video. So I know when I went and bought this crop frame camera that is 8 years old, however old it is, I knew that the most important thing that I needed to get was a decent lens. The lens was more important than the camera. I am shooting this on a 24mm 2.8. This would be a whole lot wider if I was on a full frame camera, but for the purposes of this video and the reason that I bought this T3i was for the purpose of being able to record these videos, see myself there, know that I'm in frame and everything like that. So that's why I said the lens that you use is more important. Knowing what you're doing is more important than maybe the actual camera body itself. You can take a piece of equipment that's 8 years old and you can still make it work for the purposes that you need it to be. This is a 24mm 2.8. I think I said it already. It's getting the job done. When I go into post, I'll know exactly what it looks like, but from what I can tell right here, it looks fine. It doesn't have dual pixel or anything like that, but it's gonna get the job done for what I needed it to do. So the more expensive these lenses are, the better the quality they are, and that's what I didn't realize in the beginning. But once you spend that money on that good glass, it cannot be touched by anything else. Like, simply amazing. I personally, as a wedding photographer, I shoot with a 24-70 2.8 and a 70-200 2.8. Those are my two go-to bodies that are on both of my cameras. I shoot with dual D800s for weddings, and then if I'm just doing portrait work, it's just one of the D800s, with strobes and something like that. Which takes me into my next point. Number 1. No. Number 2. Keep jumping around. Lighting is more important. Lighting is more important than the camera you use. Lighting is more important than the lens you use. Once you learn and you understand what photography is, which is the manipulation or the recording of light, that within itself tells you that the most important factor is light. I did not set up, like I said, because I didn't want to get off on this whole, I didn't have time to set up the lights and everything like that. I'm sitting in my living room, daylight bulbs and my regular ceiling fan light thingamajigger bobber, regular window light behind me, Nothing extra. The lighting would probably be better if it was, but like I said, at this point I was just tired of moving, fooling around, and just wanted to go ahead and get this video recorded. But lighting can make all the difference in the world. Even with fixed or variable aperture lens, that's going to be like your kit lenses, like adding more light is going to do wonders. So doing that is going to do wonders for you. Adding more light is going to do wonders for your videos, for your photos, all of that. All of that. All of that is going to enable the camera to perform better. A lot of these cameras have low light capabilities, but they perform best when they have light available. So knowing that the light helps, and then along with all the other knowledge that of the exposure triangle and everything like that, you are able to produce with additional light, you know what I'm saying, the best pictures that you can, or possible out of the platform or out of the camera. Excuse me. So down to my number one thing that I wish I would have knew before I started a photography business. The number one thing that I wish I would have known before I started the photography business was that it wasn't going to be easy. People were not going to just fall into my lap. People were not just gonna see my photos and just throw themselves at my feet and beg for me to shoot them. People were not going to just love my prices and think that everything was fair and good and just. That's probably more than one for number one. But these are all things, I guess, on top or as a bonus that I wish I would have known. It's just, you have to work hard for what you do. You can be one of the greatest photographers or one of the goodest. That's not a word. You can be one of the great photographers and still no one recognizes you. You have to get out there, you have to network, you have to make connections in order to have your work to be seen. That's the only way to do it. A lot of people also think, as a bonus, that you have to have all these clients. If you're not shooting all of your city, that you're a failure. If everybody in the city does not know your name as a photographer, that does not mean that you're a failure. It simply means that you may be able to sustain with 10 to 15 clients. If they're repeats, if they're regulars, if they're referring you people, on top of that, then a good base of clients will basically set you up for where you need to be. Everyone's definition of success is different. Don't let someone else's determine what you determine as success. It's your boy Jay. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, share this video with other photographers. You let me know down below what you wish you would have known before you started your photography business that could make it go smoother for you. Hopefully some young photographer will see this video and they will be able to use these tips and the tips that you guys commented down below to make a decision to arm themselves with more knowledge before they make that jump. This video is not to discourage you, but to only help you arm yourself with more knowledge and some of the things that I wish that somebody might have just told me or tapped me on the shoulder and be like, hey, you might wanna this, you might wanna that. I just jumped into it, not knowing what to expect, and I bumped my head a lot as I went. I reached out for mentors. Sometimes I got them, sometimes I didn't. I have been, I got a couple guys I know that I can bounce ideas off of, or ask about certain techniques, but there was one person I knew for sure that had been shooting since I was a kid, before I was even thinking about a camera. And when I came into this premonition, or this came into being a photographer, that was somebody that I kind of expected to help me. But in the end, he didn't have to help me. He didn't need to help me. He didn't owe it to me just because he knew me since I was a kid to do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's fine. Some people will be more open to helping you while others won't. So keep that in mind. I don't have a catchy out phrase. Not yet. Oh. I can just hit y'all with my regular slogan. So it's your boy Jay. Remember, shit. So, alright guys, this is your boy Jay for D Macau Images, captivating minds one click at a time. Gone.